All right. Hey, welcome to my semester-long project presentation. I'm going to try and do this all in one take, but it's probably going to be challenging. Either way, you're about to learn about how I took my garden shed off of the grid, and I'm going to give that presentation while dressed up kind of weird. And you might be asking, why is he dressed up weird like that? Well, I'll let you know. It's because I'm on my bike. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and give this presentation while eventually ramping up the resistance to produce as much power as my solar panels produce. So we'll see how that works. A couple of reasons I want to do this. Like, I want to see what it takes to produce the amount of power that these panels produce whenever the sun's out. And, it's a little bit fun. So this all started because I kept having to replace my lawnmower battery, my generator battery, and multiple other appliances that I keep in the shed. I wanted to keep them charged up. So this project gave me a good opportunity to do that. You'll notice along the bottom of the screen there is the workout that I created to slowly ramp up to the 260 watts that my solar panels produce. So I'll start spinning now. And you'll see over on the right, the power number is the wattage I'm currently producing. So let's get on with it, right? Why did I take my shed off the grid? Well, one, I was sick of replacing mower batteries and my generator battery. It was getting expensive and it was extremely wasteful. So in order to combat this, I first ran an extension cord from my house out to the shed. And I had a little trickle charger connected to the batteries. I had them wired in parallel. It wasn't the best solution. One, because a long extension cord running across my yard would occasionally get run over by myself with my lawnmower and the snowblower. Not the best. And it was running all the time, so this was kind of an issue. So this project has given me a really good chance to blend data and wattage and fun things, just nerdy tech tinkering things that I wanted to test out. So it was a good opportunity for this. Yeah, so the trickle charger that I was using, it seemed like a good solution at the time, and it held the battery charge pretty well. But I first started trickle charger only with a little watt meter on the charger itself, just to measure the output from the grid, or rather the draw from the grid. And over 10 days, it used 2.73 kilowatt hours, which calculated with where New Hampshire gets most of its electrical energy, a combination of nuclear, coal, and hydro. Power's bumping up. So 100 watts is what one of my panels puts out. One of them puts out 100 watts, the other puts out 160. So right now, this is a bad idea. Right now, I'm putting out 100 watts. I gotta get through this quick. So over that 10 days, that charger drew from the grid enough energy to put about just over a pound and a half of CO2 into the atmosphere, which, I mean, relatively speaking, isn't terrible, thanks to New Hampshire's energy. But in like West Virginia, where they really rely on coal, we're talking 5+ pounds of CO2 for a little charger. One little shed. So also too, that battery charger is only about 74% efficient, so not ideal. So yeah, I used the Next Peak NC101 trickle charger, always on, up to 120 watts. Oh, this is a bad idea. Yeah, I had a long extension cord, which also reduces efficiency. There's going to be some voltage drop there. So it drew 2.73 kilowatt hours from the grid, but it only put about 2.02 into the batteries because of inefficiencies. So I picked up these two photovoltaic solar panels on Facebook Marketplace for 70 bucks for the pair. One of them's 100 watts, the other's 160. We'll be bumping up to 160 watts here soon. Oh, this was a bad idea. I added a charge controller which converts the output from the panel to 12 volts for the batteries that I needed. So I had some old automotive batteries that were still good but weren't being used. So I connected those in as an energy storage to kind of buffer the mower battery. I built these mounts with some scrap wood. Easy to clean it off. Pretty cool. So over the 10 days of the charger, it output about 2.02 kilowatt hours. And at 73.8% efficiency, it drew 2.73 kilowatt hours from the grid. It's about 1.5 pounds of CO2, which sucks, pardon my language. Also, too, the resting battery voltage from the charger was 12.2 volts, which is not ideal. Oh, we're targeting 160 watts now. This is my other panel. Oh God. Yeah, so 12.2 volts is lower than ideal for a lead acid battery, which is what I'm using for storage, and it's what my mower and generator use. So this can cause long-term damage. I wanted something that would maintain a higher voltage at the very least. So for 3 days, I kept the grid plugged in, the charger, and I had the solar turned on to see if the solar would do enough to prevent the charger from turning on. And the results were the charger did not have to kick on to start charging the batteries. The solar panels produced enough to maintain it. And when the solar was connected, the resting battery voltage was 12.8 volts instead of 12.2. So this is much better for long-term battery health. So unplugged, running it on 100% solar, for 10 days, it generated 3,138 watt hours, so 3.1 kilowatt hours. Solar handled everything, and the resting voltage was 12.8 volts. No issues. There was one day when there was snow covering the panels, which is a concern when it comes to solar, because they're not heated or anything. So that day it was producing nothing until I cleared them off. Cleared them off, wattage came back up. Oh, we're about to bump up to 260 watts here. I don't know how long I'll be able to hold this, but let's go. So solar only output, 3.14 kilowatt hours. Factoring the grid efficiency, equivalent grid power would have been about 4.25 kilowatt hours. In New Hampshire, it's about 1.55 pounds, 4 pounds in West Virginia, 5.5 pounds in India, oh God, and about 0.09 pounds in Iceland, the utopia of energy. So, goals, right? All right, so started as a dead mower battery problem, turned into a real world energy experiment, removed the tripping hazard, and this idea was part of it. So it just goes to show how much actual energy, oh my God, these panels produce. Secondhand, not top of the line panels, but it goes to show how much they produce just sitting there in the sun. Kind of cool. And that's it. That's my presentation. Imagine scaling that up. 3 kilowatt hours for one shed, 2 small panels. Scale that up to 5, 10, 20 people over a year instead of just 10 days. Oh, the savings. All right, I'm gonna head out before I end up passing out. But thank you for checking this out. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. It's been a nerdy passion project. So, all right, we'll see you later.